Good morning, Rick. Great to see you.
Yeah, good morning, Keith. You're looking happy and healthy this morning.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So do you. So do you.
Thanks, man.
When we were just coming on and you were already in the waiting room for us to do this virtual podcast. I heard one of our, teachers that we both like, Tara Brock, speaking, and I said, "Is that Tara Brock?" And you said, "Yep, that's her. You recognize her voice." And so you told me a story that I'd like you to share here that informs the title for this episode, which is, "What are you choosing or allowing in your space?" So can you tell the story that Tara Brock shared?
Oh, yes, Keith. She was commenting on how many people in her practice, and she's a practicing psychologist as well as a meditation leader. And I think she has some very, very good insights about how to maintain your equilibrium in life when it's shaking you. And she was saying that so many people have approached her in her practice who have been disoriented by politics and what's happening in the world and the speed with which it's happening. And she was bemoaning the fact that there are a lot of people who are vulnerable now, who are having troubles. And she's afraid, and she wanted to recognize herself in many other people. And she told this story about a cartoon that she saw. And the cartoon was basically a picture of a parrot in a cage. And the parrot was clearly upset. There was something wrong with the parrot. The head was drooping, the feathers were all off, and it looked like a plucked chicken. And the caption read, a man talking to his wife, looking at the parrot. The caption read, "I don't think we should have lined her cage with the newspapers."
Rick, I love that when you share that with me. That's like money. So true. So when you think of that caption, what comes to mind for you?
Well, I think it's true. I think it is disorienting, and I think it's difficult anytime there's brand new changes that are happening in your life or anyone's life, when you don't really feel like you know what to do about it. And her point of this lecture that I was listening to was the idea that fear is something that not only immobilizes us, but really prevents us from being grateful and for understanding and appreciating what good there is in life. And so much of what she was talking about in this particular lecture had to do with metabolizing fear. Metabolizing fear. I've never heard that expression before, but I thought it was so appropriate. And the reason why it resonated with me is because when you and I talk about our practice, that is exactly what we're doing. We're metabolizing a lot of the garbage in life. We're making that turn into something that's different. It comes to us in a way where you feel out of sorts, whether it's depression or anxiety or whatever's caused by the external stimulus, and that creates a fear. But the practice that you and I and others have been involved in, physical fitness, meditation, nutrition, focusing on the positive, focusing on gratitude, that metabolizes the fear and it turns it into something else. It reconnects with the presence in our lives that helps us see the beauty of what we have. It doesn't eliminate but it metabolizes it. It puts it in a different kind of form that makes it more digestible and more understandable.
Rick, I love that. I love what Tara shared. I love what you shared. Um, that's certainly true for me, and that's really what the practice has helped me done was to everything that is occurring outside of me, everything, and then take that. My mind creates some kind of narrative about it or interacts in a certain way, and so does my heart. And so it's really important that I become the observer of all these things happening. Like you said, not denying that that's occurring with the outside world, with my mind or my heart, not renouncing it, but just being aware of it. And in the practice helps me be aware of it. And it's within that awareness that creates that space for me to see what else is available. And as you mentioned, there are things to be grateful for. There's things to there's opportunities to connect with other people, the humanity in other people. I mean, to really live life with an open heart when I'm doing those things. And so the practice really helps with that. Interesting that I don't spend a lot of time outside of work on the internet and watching pickleball videos to increase my game. I don't spend a lot of time with that, but I checked out a few scores with March Madness. Normally, I would be really into that in past years, but this year, someone asked me yesterday, a couple of kids about who's playing or who are you rooting for. I'm like, I don't even know who's in the tournament. That's just how I haven't been as connected to it. But even on the sports pages, there was something that was happening in politics that was listed there, and they do a pretty good job of not putting that there. But I remember observing my mind have kind of a little reaction to it, and I just observed it, and then I just, let it go. For somehow there was a strip of newspaper there, Rick, that was around me in my little vicinity, and I started to feel like a feather fall off or something like.
Yeah.
So not to avoid it, I just recognized it, rooted myself in my practice, and I picked the feather back up and then put it back on me. So I'm good to go. But I think it's really important that people are aware of what they're doing. You can't control what's on the outside, but what you can control is what's on the inside. So if at any time, over the years that you have thought things were great on the outside, and then other times you thought things were a mess on the outside. The important thing is whether they are good or not good on the outside is not up to you. What's good, what is up to you is what's going on the inside. And, it can be a mess on the outside. My commitment is not to have a mess on the inside. That's my commitment. That's what I can control. And so, and what I take in from the outside world, is very important for me to be mindful of that, uh, as well as what I allow to occur inside. So I'm just going to close there, Rick. You got any closing thoughts for us about what are you choosing or allowing in your space?
One final thought, I guess, and that's part of what we do in our practice, which is the idea of being mindful, of being present in the moment. And by that, we're talking about cultivating a mindful approach to daily activities, no matter how simple they are. Concentrate on appreciating and emphasizing the direct experience of your life in the moment with whatever you're doing, rather than all of the conceptual stuff that's going on in the news. I mean, you can have an opinion about it if you want, but the point is the cultivating of a mindful experience of your direct life motions, what you're going through in your life on a daily basis, I think is a way to metabolize fear, a way to metabolize what the crap is in your life, and a way to live in a way that's true to your own inner love and inner open-heartedness.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree, Rick. I tell people that I don't watch the news, and I tell them why I don't, and people will say to me, give me all the reasons why they want to do it, being formed and so forth. It's like, how's that working out for you? You more peaceful? Are you more peaceful? You're less fearful? You less, tense and stressed? And no, I'm more. Okay, carry on. Carry on.
That's one way to do it.
That's one way to do it. That's one way to do it, Rick. I love you, Rick. Thank you.
I love you, Keith. Good topic. Thanks, man.
Thank you.